guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for the love on the last video of me reviewing some of your designs. I am actually in the design hot seat today and will be coming up with a fresh new design. So when designing and filming these videos, I always make sure that I am pushing myself out of my comfort zone, making sure that I'm not getting complacent when designing. So I always make sure I am using brands that I have never worked with or designed before. So in this video, I am actually making my very own chocolate brand, something that I have never done before, and I'm really excited to see if I can do it some justice and hopefully come up with something fresh, something new, and something that hasn't been done before. So if you are ready, grab your drink, sit back, relax, and let's get on with the design. So we are back in the design chair today. I am ready to get started, ready to get stuck in, and I feel like I should be eating chocolate whilst designing this chocolate brand, but trying to eat healthy, so maybe that's not a good idea. Let's start off with the brand overall. So I have been having a look at what sort of target audience I want and what people I want to attract for this brand. So mine is geared towards women aged around 18 to 35. So this brand is going to be based all around desire, attraction, empowerment, and passion. So this leads me on to coming up with a name. So I've been brainstorming and trying to come up with something that would work for this brand. So what do we feel about the name Nibble? I really like this because it refers back to sort of eating that chocolate, putting that thought in your head around eating, and then you've actually got that sexual desire of nibbling on someone's ear. So when you nibble, you're normally eating a lot slower than normal. So there's also that sexual attraction around it being slower. When you do things in a lot slower way, I feel like that is a lot more attractive. So for me, nibble works really well for what I'm wanting to achieve with this brand. So name is done. We know exactly what this brand is going to be about. So now we are going to create a mood board together. So I haven't put anything together yet. Normally I would have a look for Pinterest boards and get an idea, but we're going to do this together and see what direction I'm going to take this brand in. So before starting this Pinterest board, in my head I had visualized a really luscious script, sort of handwritten font that's quite feminine and a lot smoother. But after doing some research and knowing the packaging is going to be quite out there and full on, I want to keep the logo nice and simple and in a sans serif typeface. So I have added some really nice typefaces to my mood board. I've also found some gorgeous pictures to show off that feminine vibe that I really want to go down. I'm really excited after putting this mood board together to get on with the main logo. So I am gonna type out Nibble. This is how I start all of my projects. I basically find different fonts and then go through them and try and pick out my favorite and then just go from there. So as I stated in my mood board, I really want to find some really nice sans serif typefaces because I feel like this is just gonna be really nice and plain, so all my packaging and illustrations can definitely do the talking. So when doing my mood board, I was getting a lot of luxe vibes from the photography, but I don't want to go down that luxury route of chocolate. I want to keep it fun, yet still have that little desire and passion within the brand. So when choosing the typeface, I am going to make sure I steer away from anything that is really luxurious and really elegant and just keep it really nice and simple. Always in my head, I have this visual and I kind of know what I want, but sometimes it doesn't end that way. And that's why I love recording these videos so you guys can see exactly my thoughts along this journey. So first one is avocado, sans bold regular, and I really don't know if I want everything to be in capital letters. Most of them are in caps, but there's one in there that is in the lowercase, so I'm going to just go through this. So this one right now is way too thick for my liking. I want mine to be nice and thin, and I'm just getting too much of like a bubbly vibe and I don't want it to be kiddish. I just want something that is really nice and neat. So this one is gone. Next one, I thought this was really nice. Although it is a bit bubbly for my liking, it has some really nice edges on it and it does remind me of like the typography being nibbled at, but I think it is just a little playful for what I want. So Bill Maher is gone. Next is Brooklyn, and I really like this font. So when thinking of what I want to do for this, I want the tracking to be quite far apart, so I already feel like this is gonna work nicely. Seeing it with that tracking, I can already see that I'm gonna be able to edit this nicely, put some things in there to adjust the typeface, but I really do like this font. So I'm gonna keep this one. This one is called Brooklyn. Next is Colorusun. No idea if I'm saying it right, but we're just gonna go with it. I also really like this font. I don't like the L and the E, so I'm wondering if that can be changed. Where is the E? Am I being blind? Yeah, there's the E. I feel like this, I really love the N on this. I don't know if this is gonna be too playful, but I'm gonna keep it in because it's really distinct and I just get a really nice feeling when looking at this. These two are very different, so I could take these in two completely different directions. Next is this one. Now looking at this, I thought it was really, really cool, but I don't think I like it. I think it's too luxe for me for what I'm wanting for this brand, so it's gone. This one reminds me of this one, but it's too bold for my liking, and I'm just not feeling this for my chocolate brand. This one is gone. Next is Checkers Regular. I quite like this one. It is a little luxurious and it reminds me of Plume on my board, so I do really like this. So I feel like I'm going to keep that one in. And then this one is Murphy Sands. Similar to the one above, just a little thicker. But I do like the thin one, so I'm gonna remove this one, and we are currently left with 3 now. So I'm gonna go through these now, choose one, and then crack on with the primary logo. So I have just done a little tweak to the primary logo and this typeface. So on the 2Bs, I thought it'd be quite nice to just sort of move the inside up a little, just to remind you of it being nibbled away at nice and slowly, not adding too much to it so that it goes a bit wild, but I really like this subtle effect on it. And sometimes having something really simple can just work so well. So when you look at really big brands, you will notice that their logos are quite simple because everything else does the talking, their tone of voice, their packaging, everything is consistent within it, and their typeface is normally just really, really basic and simple. So I'm going for that this week because sometimes mine can be quite wild, quite out there. And I'm trying to just push myself out of my comfort zone and do things that aren't really wild, and just sometimes it can be plain, sometimes it can just be subtle tweaks that do just make your brand distinct, and this works really, really nicely. So I'm really excited to see how this brand is going to transform now. So as I mentioned before, I want to include that desire around women. I really like the idea of using roses within this. So when you think of chocolate, normally you would get a gift from someone. So normally in a romantic way with chocolate, you get roses. So I really like the idea of using that sort of symbolism of roses and chocolate together and basing that around this brand. So within that, I feel like the Submark logo could maybe incorporate a rose or just something like an icon. I don't really do that many icon logos, so I want to push myself in this one to create an icon that is really distinct for this brand. I have created the primary logo. I've done a secondary logo of it being stacked in a really nice stacked position, and it works really nice with the symmetry. So one B being at one end and the other B being at the other. I feel like that works really nicely. And then I moved on to the icon logo, which I spoke about before, that I never really do like an icon. And it's been really nice to actually work with really nice shapes, create some really nice symmetry, and incorporating the rose and the petals, it just looks really nice. And it reminds me of one of those windows you'd see at church, of there being like really beautiful colors, the sun shining through, and I get a really nice feeling. So incorporating the rose with desire and having that symbolism in there works really nicely, and I'm so excited to actually add some color into this. So your brand should always start off in black and white, because if it can't be used as a really simple form in black and white, then your brand won't be scalable. You won't be able to sort of use it really easily. So start off in black and white and then move on to your color. So with the color now, looking back at my mood board, I've got some really nice browns, reds, oranges, and I definitely want to go in that direction. When you think of passion and desire, red is just the first color that comes to mind. I don't want it to be like a really bright red, so I'm going to take the inspo off of my mood board, try and find some colors around this, and hopefully these colors look awesome with this branding. Guys, let's just take a second to appreciate this color palette. I did not have this in my head. I was gonna go for like more plums, purples, reds, but something is just speaking to me, like the chocolate vibe with the bright orange is just beautiful. It is such a nice color palette, a color palette that I have never actually used before, and it works so nicely with this chocolate brand. I'm so excited as well to do the illustrations and get some funky, fun, distinct pattern within this, because I know that it is just gonna look so ace. I'm just so excited when you add the color palette in, because you know like it's gonna work. And I like to use Adobe color themes, as you've seen. They have a really cool tool in here where you can basically find some color themes on a color that you look for. So I literally typed in red, found some really nice colors, and mixed some of the palettes together to create my perfect color palette. And I love that this is within Adobe, so you don't have to go and use another website. So let me know if you knew about color themes within Adobe, because it has saved me so much time finding color palettes. So next stage now is coming up with a really beautiful brand pattern for this. So from my mood board, as you've seen, I have got some really nice illustrations. I know that I want to incorporate the empowerment of women, that sexual desire, some really nice roses. So I'm gonna do some illustrations of women, some really nice roses, and hopefully this will look awesome and something just so different for a chocolate brand. Like when I think of chocolate brands, it's just normally like quite plain packaging. So like Cadbury's, you've got Galaxy. Like Galaxy is quite desirable and quite nice and flowy, but there's just something different about this brand that I am adoring at the moment, and I'm so excited to explore it. I honestly can't wait to do the packaging and see how this all looks, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So next stage, we're going to create some illustrations and see how it looks. I'm speechless. I'm not gonna lie, it did take me quite a while to do these illustrations, and they aren't perfect, but you gotta run with it. If I had more time, I would definitely go in and make them a lot more smoother with a lot more shadow, but as they are, they look really awesome with this brand. And I was gonna actually make a sort of different pattern, but I thought the block pattern works really well when thinking of chocolate, because you obviously get chocolate in blocks. So creating that pattern in a block style works really nicely, and I might even use that on packaging. And then I created a rose, which was actually gonna go in with the woman, but it didn't kind of work how I wanted to in my head. So I've actually used it as a background that can be used maybe in with the brand, and it looks really nice. It reminds me of just like chocolate flowing whilst creating a rose. So actually doing that has worked really well. Like I said, sometimes it doesn't go as planned, but I'm gonna be honest, this looks even better now than it did in my head. At the start, I had a completely different visual, but now I'm so glad that we have decided to go for these colours, typeface, the icon, the patterns, everything together works really nicely, and even the colours just remind me of like a really nice chocolatey brand, and they're a bit different than what you would normally see. I really love that bright orange, really pulls everything out. Even on the illustrations it creates nice highlights and shadows, so I'm glad I went for them. So the next stage is finding some really nice funky photography that I can use within this brand. So it's always good to use photography within your brand. So if you don't do them in your presentations when you send them to clients, make sure you start using them, because it really adds a realness to the brand. So I'm going to find some chocolate, some models, some women who are empowering and really bring this brand to life. How awesome does it look when you actually add in the photography elements? It just brings the brand as a whole together, and it just makes it look so phenomenal. And these images are from Unsplash and Pexels, which are free to use for commercial use, and I always just add them in because it does just bring that realness to the brand. So I'm going to move on to the packaging now. So I'm going to go to Envato Elements, which is my go-to mock-up place. If you haven't heard of them, they are amazing, and I don't know how I would do what I do without them. They do fonts, mock-ups, anything like that that you are looking for, they are your go-to. I have a link in my bio if you want to use that to have a look at them. But yeah, I'm going to go to them, see what mock-ups I can get. I think they'll have some really nice packaging for chocolate and bring this brand to life. That is the mock-ups done now, and they are looking so good. The brand looks so much better than what I thought it would in my head, and just seeing it mocked up onto the chocolates and the packaging, I feel like it's just brought the whole brand to life, and I would so buy into this brand. I can just imagine all their socials being really cool, really funky, not the typical chocolate brand that you would normally see. So I'm gonna let you see all of the mock-ups and the whole brand as a whole. So let me introduce you to Nibble.
is the branding complete. Please let me know your thoughts on it, if you adore the colour palette as much as me, if you thought I chose the right typeface, and if you love the illustrations. I think they look so good on the packaging, and I just have outdone myself here. I had such a different vision in my head, and I do love that things can change and you can be taken in certain directions from a different inspiration that you see. So let me know your thoughts on this. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see some more design content like this.